the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers FC channel, and welcome to today's match preview. This is for tomorrow's game, the weekend game at 3 o'clock. Doncaster Rovers will be hosting Bristol Rovers at the Keepmoat Stadium on Saturday. And yeah, we're going to be talking all about the game today. We're going to be talking about where Bristol Rovers are in the table. We're going to be talking about what the manager is, some players to look out for. We're going to be looking at what we need to do in this game. And also we're going to talk about my predicted lineups and the predicted scoreline. So, before we get started, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. And for now, guys, let's get straight into this and let's start talking about Bristol Rovers. So, Bristol Rovers, currently under the management of Garner, are currently in 20th position. So, they're near the relegation zone, but I'll give them credit. They still have to, face easier opposition, in my opinion. They came up against Sunderland, got a 1-1 draw. Came up against Ipswich last weekend, got a 2-0 loss. So, they're two big clubs. So, I think looking at the fixture list for Bristol Rovers, and I was taking a look at this before we started recording this today. Looking at the fixture list, obviously we've got Doncaster tomorrow at 3 o'clock for Bristol Rovers, and then they've got Northampton Town. I think Northampton Town, followed by the likes of Burton and Shrewsbury and Accrington after Lincoln and the Football League trophy match in the group stage against Oxford, I think that some of those matches further down the weeks are better in terms of quality. I think that Bristol Rovers, it'll be tough to get past Lincoln, but I think between Doncaster and Lincoln, not including the trophy match, I do think that they've got a couple of easy games in there in the next few weeks, so I think that they will have time to show off their new signings a little bit more, but I do think that Bristol Rovers will lose against Lincoln. I think they'll lose against Rovers as well. So that's talking a little bit about Bristol Rovers. Obviously, Garner's a young manager, a young coach. There's been lots of debates between Bristol Rovers fans whether he's a coach or a manager. So it's going to be very interesting to sort of see, what his gameplay is like, how it works on the field, because I've only seen highlights of it. So I want to see exactly how it works in the game tomorrow. So looking then at what we need to do, I'm going to say exactly what we need to do after that Charlton game, which we need to take into the Bristol Rovers match. So let's talk about what we need to do against Bristol Rovers. So, one of the big things we need to do is keep attacking. That's the big thing. Keep playing that fluent, from the back, attacking football that we showed against MK Dons, we showed against Charlton. We need to keep doing that. Don't forget, we're 4th in the league, unbeaten in 2. Let's make it unbeaten in 3. Let's start getting a winning run together now. Let's make it 2 wins in a row in back-to-back weekends. Let's make it 2 back-to-back victories. And obviously Lincoln play Charlton tomorrow, so if we win and Ipswich and Hull lose this weekend, then we basically go top of the league until Lincoln play Charlton on the Sunday. So, and Charlton, to be fair, they could change their formation and they could beat Lincoln. And if Ipswich and Hull lose tomorrow and Lincoln lose to Charlton on Sunday, we will finish this weekend top of the league. And that, my friends, is a very nice place to finish. Now, of course, and obviously when you're top of the league, there's going to be a lot of contenders. There's going to be a lot of, once you go top of the league, there's a big target on your back. So we have to make sure we deal with the pressure because there's going to be a lot of attention on us, even this very early on, if we end up at the end of this weekend top of the league. Obviously, Ipswich are now top of the league. Lincoln are behind on 1 goal difference. Hull, of course, are behind Lincoln with the 100% record. So, we're the first team without the 100% record. So Ipswich and Hull lose or draw. Let's be honest. If they lose or draw, and if we get a higher goal difference with victory before Lincoln play, then we can go top of the league on a goal difference system. So even if they don't lose, if they draw and we score enough goals against Bristol Rovers, then we could still go top of the league on goal difference. But to do that, we need to keep playing that fluent, from the back, attacking football that we've been doing in the past couple of games. And, you know, I'll tell you my predicted lineup at the end of the video, but I do think there will be very little changes, only a couple of changes, so a bit of a spoiler there. But looking at what else we need to do, I think that technically three positions that I think need to be top-notch. Because Bristol Rovers, I'm not going to rule them out, they do have some quick players, and if they pick the right players, they can go for it. So I think three positions that need to be top-notch, especially when defending, is the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. Bursic, Anderson, Wright. Anderson and Wright, what a pair. We've got one of arguably the best centre-back pairing in League One this season. And Joseph Bursic, on loan from Stoke, what a goalkeeper. He can provide some fantastic saves, I know that. So they're going to be watchful players as well. Also, in my opinion, I think we need to keep that midfield. I think that midfield needs to be just as creative, but also holds the play up. I think we need to keep the ball a little bit more. And one little sort of nibble I did pick out is that I know John Taylor, and I think another player as well, was quite selfish on the ball a couple of times, so they weren't picking out the right pass at the right moment. Just a couple of occasions, nothing too bad. But, you know, maybe we need to start doing that a little bit more. Start picking the right passes at the right time, not holding it for a couple more seconds. So I think that that's going to be very important, especially against a team that's playing three at the back with the four in the midfield, the two wide and the two centre, and then you've got your three attackers, two behind the one, or even one behind the two if they decide to go with that. But usually it's the 3-4-2-1 they play. So, you know, against the flat four in the mid from the wide and the centre, then it's going to be very challenging to try and deal with that flat four. And one thing to do that is to put a cross in at the right time. Don't hold on to the ball for a couple of seconds, because those wing backs, they could literally just go for it and they could counter-attack. And that's what Bristol Rovers, I think, will do. They'll play counter-attacking football. So we need to not play counter-attacking football. We need to be attacking from the back, from the off. And we've got the players to do that now. So I think we need to be very, very challenging from the get-go. So that is what we need to do. Now I'm going to share with you some players that I think we need to watch out for going into this game on the opposition side. So the first set of players, I guess, is the Three Musketeers, and that is our three centre-backs for Bristol Rovers. Sean Harries, Max Amer and Alfie Kilgore. Now, of course, in the Ipswich game, they weren't the best. Let's be honest, they were good. They were average at best, but they were good. But I think they just need easier opponents to show themselves as a threat in that three at the back formation. And I think that, you know, as a three at the back, you know, let's not wash away this three at the back formation that Ben Garner's playing here. Let's give it some respect, because, you know, and to be fair, there are a few teams that play three at the back, or they'll play five at the back. But I like this three at the back formation that they're pointing out, because I think the three at the back could work. I think it's nice having three centre backs as well as, you know, two wingers or wing backs that can play defensive and attacking. So I think it's a very good formula that they're going with here. They just need easier opponents. And can we just add, by the way, Bristol Rovers seems to be a bit of a bogey team for Doncaster Rovers. So I think that, you know, we do need to treat them with some respect, because they could provide a shock tomorrow, so we need to be on our toes just as much. It's going to be a very, very tough game. And I think that three at the back for Bristol Rovers is going to be very, very key to trying and accomplishing that. If he does play, someone else who I think should be very, very watchful, a fresh attacking force who was brought in from the MLS this season, Sam Nicholson. Now, this all comes to if he plays, if he's fit 100%. And I'll get on with my predicted lineups at the end of the video, like I said earlier. So, Sam Nicholson could potentially be a threat. He's an attacking threat. He's a fresh attacking force. It can provide some threatening runs and assists, as well as getting a goal or two. So he can provide a full all-round attacking threat. And, you know, being from the MLS, you know, he's got that flair about him that he's learnt from the MLS. So I think that that's something we've got to watch out for as well. Another player that I think could be very, very deadly is the new signing that was signed back on the 21st September, so only 4 days ago. So he could make his debut against us this weekend, and that is Luke McCormick, on loan from Chelsea. He can play in the centre midfield, but he could also play in the cam position. So I think that He could provide some attacking intent to our centre-back pairing. They're unstoppable at the minute, Anderson and Wright, but they're not immortal, and I think that Luke McCormick could potentially pick out the non-immortalness of the centre-back pairing and try and pick them apart piece by piece throughout the game. So I think Luke McCormick could be a dangerous threat, and I think Luke McCormick can provide some attacking assists and goals. I think that he could be a big threat, and you've got to look at the Chelsea loanees in League One this season. Tariq Uwakwe at Accrington Stanley. He's proving already to be a big threat, so I think that Luke McCormick is no different. Next up, Jonah Ayunger. Now this is a bit of a toss-up between him and Brandon Hanlon, two new strikers. Jonah Ayunger, top scorer in the National League South last season with 17 goals in 30 games. All he needs is a chance. All he needs is a chance on goal, and he could score. Yes, he's playing at Football League level. Yes, he's playing at 3 divisions above where he was last time. So I think that he will be a big target if he plays in the game tomorrow. If he starts tomorrow or comes on for the last half an hour from the bench. He was from Hamilton Waterlooville from the last season, undisclosed fee. And I think that he could be a potential goal threat. Yes, he's a non-league player, but that doesn't mean he can't provide the goals. 17 goals in 30 games is not too bad. So I think that, Jonah Ayunger could be a threat. If they don't start with him, then the other one will be Brandon Hanlon. So if he starts, he's expected to be the replacement goal threat for Johnson Clark-Harris, who of course left the club. So Bristol Rovers is a past bogey team. We need to be careful with this, especially with the potential goal threat of Brandon Hanlon, and I think that with him being a former Gillingham player, I think that he could be a potential goal threat all around the pitch. I think that he could get goals from the left, right, the centre, from the penalty spot, from heading in a corner. He could get goals anywhere. Like Ayunger, he could get goals anywhere. So Brandon Hanlon definitely could be a threat, and I think that again we need to watch out for this particular player. So that's looking at a few Bristol Rovers players that we possibly need to watch out for. And now it's time to share my predicted lineup for the games. Let's start off with Bristol Rovers. So the predicted lineup from Bristol Rovers goes in the 3-4-2-1 as follows. Anzi Jacola in goal. In the wing-back positions, we've got Luke Leahy on the left and Mark Little on the right. I was kind of debating whether to go with Sam Nicholson and a more attacking right wing back to go opposite Nicholson as wingers, rather than just wing backs, rather than wingers. But I think that they'll keep it the same in my opinion. But I think that might be a mistake. Centre back 3: Harries, Aymer, Kilgore, no different. In the midfield, we've got Joshua Grant and Edward Upson. In the attack, in the cams, behind the striker, we've got Jayden Mitchell-Lawson on loan from Derby County and Luke McCormick on loan from Chelsea making his debut. So I think we've got McCormick and Mitchell-Lawson. So the loanee pair in the cam positions. And then up front, Jonah Ayunger. Then on the subs bench, we've got Jordy van Steppenschoof, Josh Hare, David Tutonda, Jack Baldwin, Zane Westbrook, who was in the starting lineup in the last game. Sam Nicholson and another player from the starting lineup in the last game, Brandon Hanlon. So, just a couple of changes there. One player was moved out of the bench entirely, Cameron Hargreaves, to put Westbrook there, because of course I brought McCormick in. Obviously, Hanlon on the bench, Ayunger to start. I think that he'll be the start, and I think if they don't get goals, I think they'll bring Hanlon on maybe with half an hour to go, potentially. So it should be interesting to see what they do with that. And, I think the threat could be there with Sam Nicholson. They could bring him on with 40 minutes to go if they need to make a sub that early in the second half, if they need more attacking intent, or they could make him a change in the half entirely. So I think that, we have to look out for Sam Nicholson because he could be a super sub from the bench, potentially. Next up, let's talk about my predicted lineup for Doncaster Rovers' team, the home team, of course. I wanted to start with the away team, first of all, just to build up the suspense, really, for my team. So let's go on then with the Donny Rovers team. So, in goal, we've got Joseph Bursick, no change there. A 4 at the back, again, it's the 4-2-3-1. That's been working for us like clockwork at the minute. Brad Halliday on the right, Tom Anderson and Joe Wright in the centre, and Danny Amos on the left. Now, the reason I've gone with Danny Amos is because even though Reece James wasn't injured in the Charlton game, it was just fatigue. I don't think they should risk it just in case. I think with hardly any pre-season, I think it just took a little bit out of him at the end of the Charlton match. So I think that we do need to give Jonah Ayunger minutes, and I think that Reece James should, at least for one half with Jonah Ayunger. And I think that Cameron John's a centre-back, not a left-back, even though we're transitioning him into one. So I think that, I think we need to start Jonah Ayunger a bit more, and I think this is the perfect game for him. Midfield 2 of Ben Whiteman and Magic Gomez, no change there. Then the front 3, unchanged again. John Taylor on the left wing, Jason Lakilo on the right wing, and Taylor Richards at cam. And then up front, Tyrese John Jules. Then on the bench, Lewis Jones, Reece James, Andy Butler moves into the bench because, of course, Tulloch's injured for a couple of weeks. Cameron John, James Coppinger, Ed Williams, and Fajiri Okunabiri. So a very interesting bench, and of course a couple of changes to the starting 11 here and there. Lakilo starting, Amos getting some minutes, and James on the bench, and Tulloch out the squad completely replaced by Andy Butler, our short-term contract centre-back. So there we go, that is my predicted lineups. Of course, you can put down in the comments down below, what is your predicted lineups for the Bristol Rovers team and the Doncaster Rovers team? Put them in the comments down below. I may be wrong about the Amos thing. I think potentially Reece James could start, but I just worry that might be a risk and he might have to come off with injury. It might affect him in some way. But that might not be the case. It might not be the case, but I just worry with Reece James. I was just trying to be cautious with the Amos substitution. But I definitely think Lakilo will start. And they'll have people like Williams and Coppinger as backup, shall we say. But this sort of reaffirms my point. We do need an out-and-out winger just to give us some more squad depth. I think that's just the one thing, really. So finally then, predicted scoreline to end the video. Now, I spoke to a Bristol Rovers fan on Instagram. He says 2-0 to Doncaster Rovers, so that was a brave choice. I'm going to one-up this scoreline here. I'm going to go with a 3-0 prediction. I'm going to go with 3-0. Now, a lot of people did comment in the past on scorelines. I think there was a 5-3, there was a 1-1 somewhere. There was a 4-0 from someone as well. I'm going to go with 3-0. I think the big thing with this game is the scoreline won't reflect the performance. I think the performance will be like a 5-6, 7-0 maybe. And that's not being disrespectful to Bristol Rovers. I just think they need to come up against much worse opposition to get their season going. So I think that we will be just like Sunderland, like Ipswich, will be a better opposition. So I think that the scoreline will reflect the scoreline will be 3-0, but the performance will reflect like a 5-6, 7-0 win. I think we just need to score the goals that match that performance. So it could be more than 3, it could be less than 3. It might not even be a win, it could be a loss for all we know. But I'm confident going into this one, really, really confident. And let's keep that winning run going. Let's make it 2 wins in a row. Let's make it 3 unbeaten. Let's stay unbeaten in the league. Let's hope Ipswich and Hull lose. And let's hope we can go top of the table at least by Sunday when Lincoln face Charlton. And hopefully Charlton can pick out something against Lincoln City and we get to stay top of the table at the end of the weekend. But, very exciting, cannot wait, and I hope you guys are really excited for the match review tomorrow. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the match preview of Bristol Rovers. Like I said, really excited. We've got some very exciting content coming next week in the aftermath of the Bristol Rovers games, we say. And I'm really excited to cover all of that, to do the video on that. You guys are going to be very excited about what's coming up next week. But for now, guys, thank you very, very much. I am the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe for more. And for now, guys, have a nice day.